It's harder, I think, growing up. I think kids have a tougher time of growing up now than we did too, with social media. We know that. Everybody knows that. There's great things about social media, and like Zoom. Look at this. Here we are,
thousands of miles away, right?
But still face to face. Yeah. But if kids can just find that person they click with and not worry about all the rest.
Yep.
Because you got to have that one friend. That makes a world of difference.
It does, and it does make a world of difference. It's hard to see. A friend of mine has a daughter who's really struggling with that, and her sister has two Beckys.
Mm-hmm.
And she hadn't found her Becky, and she's, getting on up into high school and is wondering what's wrong. What's wrong with her? When there's nothing wrong with her. She just hasn't been in the environment or with the right group and I felt that way after I left you. I went to Bowden, and then I had really good friends, but nothing that was the same. I ended up hanging out with boys a lot because I just didn't like drama of girls. I hung out with girls a lot too. I had some, Cynthia was a best friend. Pam was a best friend, but it wasn't the same as my friendship with you.
Right.
And then when I moved to New York, I never found a Becky. And then I moved to LA, and I still didn't find a Becky until I was in my 30s. So there was a long period of time where I had like 70% Becky, but no 100%. Well, now I have a couple of 100%.
Yeah.
So then when I explain that to my kids, I go, I was so lucky to have had Becky. But if you just take that one person out, look how long it took me to find somebody. It took me my whole life to find somebody.
Right. Your whole adult, yeah.
And the reason we were together was such a specific set of circumstances that was just great divine luck. Mm-hmm. And that's it. If I'd been, like I said, if I'd been a neighborhood over, we may not have been as close because I could literally walk out my front door and into yours in 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard, I think, for people to be patient. And sometimes I think it's hard for people to trust themselves enough to trust another person. I think that your friendship and your family taught me how to be married. So my mom has divorced 6 men now. My dad's had 2 divorces. And I don't have a lot of happily married people in my family. They're married people, and some of them are happy, but I wouldn't call them, they were no Margie and Tony. And I'm sure Margie and Tony were flawed in their marriage too, but I remember they used to sneak in their bedroom in the middle of the day and lock the door.
Oh, yeah. They loved each other.
So much.
Dad was always grabbing on Mom and stuff. Do you remember that? She'd be standing by the table and he'd grab her, and they were very committed and very, they overlooked. I think in marriage, you either, if you focus on the bad, then all you see is the bad. If you focus on the good, and they just had a great relationship. In his mind, his job was to go out and make money and take care of his family and give them everything they needed and wanted. And my mom, in her mind, was to stay home and keep, have the household taken care of. That's how she supported my dad. And so when he came home, things weren't, not when I say crazy, it was great with all the kids. He loved having my daddy wanted everybody around. Amy's that way. Mm-hmm. Amy loves to have people around her all the time. Mm-hmm. But Mom's job was to take care of us and, to make sure Dad was fed and whatever. And they were on the same team. And she expected for him to, make the money and take care where she didn't have to worry about that.